Welcome back to Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Join us as we venture year-round into the fog.
Make sure you give us a like and a follow on your podcast platform of choice. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube page where we upload every episode in its video format, and maybe a few other surprises as well.
Make sure you're following us on social media to keep up to date with our newest haunted content.
I'm Nick.
I'm Seamus.
I'm Jamie.
I'm not sure how we're quite at the halfway point already, but somehow we are. It's weird. It's going by too fast. It really is. But we figured since we're about halfway through, we might as well do a little revisit. Last week we talked about sort of what has been, or maybe not last week, but at some point we talked about our hype versus reality of stuff went up, stuff went down. We didn't really give a definitive ranking. But that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to strictly talk about the houses tonight, but we are going to go into our lists. Now, again, these are really more personal. These are not us saying and arguing for the sake of a house being better, unquestionably. This is kind of personal taste. So obviously there's biases involved in all of these lists. I know I have a house a little higher than I should, but I like the property, so that's where it lands. So these are very personal lists of where we think that they land for us right now, currently. I have Pumpkinhead. I'm drinking a Pumpkinhead. That's something. So nothing too crazy on the beer front, but we do have that rocking for us. But this is going to be a pretty straightforward episode. Really not much to really discuss beforehand. We do have something in the works, so be glued to our socials for that. I'm not sure when we're going to announce it, but we got something planned up probably for the next week or so, something pretty cool. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled on all of our pages. And I think it's time we just dive into the lists. We're going through the houses 1 through 10 again. I'm curious. I don't have my hype list in front of me, so I don't know exactly where things have shifted.
I don't either.
I have a feeling of where stuff has gone, but as far as where it inevitably, has risen or fallen, I don't know that. So, Jamie, do you want to kick us off for our lists?
Yes, and I think I don't have my previous hype list pulled up though, but I do think this was my number 10 spot before as well. And of course, Boots wants to cry now. But at number 10, and like you said, Nick, this is definitely more so based off of our opinions. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people are very fond of this house. Personally, it's not just my thing, but I have at number 10, Fallout.
Interesting. Yeah. So, and I guess before we go into these more, we do want to say we take a lot into consideration. At least I do when I'm going over these rankings. But one thing I don't put into like thought, there isn't a like scare actor effort like category for me when I'm going through these houses, because they're all playing their roles perfectly. They're doing their job. So I'm not going to say a house is good or bad because of a scare actor's performances. No. They're all top notch. It really comes down to house storytelling, build, how the scares were built. If I just happen to be getting good runs, they could have the best built scare. And if it hasn't been operated on me yet, then like I can't rank it for potential. I'm ranking stuff off of like where I'm at. So is there a reason? What's putting Fallout at 10 for you?
And I don't want this to sound like mean, but it's just a little slow for me. I feel like the one thing I was more excited about was seeing the ghoul. And I feel like a lot of his parts in the house are kind of shadowed really weird, so you can't get a good look at him. Then again, I can't really say too much. I feel like this house and one other house, I feel like I haven't had too many runs of, just because it hasn't been high up on my list or to do it. But like you said, like the scare actors always do a great job. There was one time all three of us, I'm pretty sure, went into the house, and there was the one scare actor who was like, "Work, damn you," or something, and kept saying it and true, and that was a really good run we had through that one, but it just hasn't really done it for me. Yeah. Not really anything in specific,
All right. Seamus, what do you got at your 10 spot? So unfortunately, something's got to be there. There's always got to be one.
Sorry, I'm mixing a drink and I'm muted. No, my 10 is Jason. I don't really need to go into details as to why. I've said it multiple times in the last couple of episodes why I don't like this house. I think I'm just beating a dead horse at this point if I go through it again. But essentially, it's boring. It's not a very effective house. I guess if all you're looking for is like being just constantly assaulted by scare actors, then that's the house for you. And maybe it is the scariest thing since I don't know, since moving pictures became a thing. But it's just it's just not that good, guys. Like it's not, you're letting your love for Jason Voorhees the character blind your opinion of this house. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm doing.
I know, and I get it. And like, I know that's what the joke you were making when you said, "Oh, I might have one higher than other people." And like, you do. I mean, I'm not, and this isn't like I'm not throwing shade at anyone that likes this house. And if you like it, you like it. It is what it is. Everyone's allowed to like what they like. Yeah. Because I probably have Fallout way too high in this list as the opinion of some people.
Yeah,
that I know.
Well, and that's the fun part. Like we said, these are personal. They're not like this is the be all end all. This is what they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just not. Yeah, it's just not an effective house for me. And I like I said, I'll say it again. The end of it, after you go through the transition of buildings, that one long hallway with boo holes does not make a house for me. Yeah. That to me, that tells me you didn't know what to do and you cheaped out. That's really what it comes down to.
Or space doesn't allow it, and if space doesn't allow it, then you got to shift locations because we can't.
Right. Well,
just
that's still on them. That's not an excuse that they can use as a like, oh well, we just didn't have the space to do more. It's like, well, then you put it in the wrong place.
Yeah, then don't put it there.
You should have known better.
Yep, I agree. So my 10, I also have an IP, but it is not one that anybody has said. It is Five Nights at Freddy's.
I know it. That's okay. Yep. That's all right.
It's okay. Yep. It was at 10.
Okay.
It was at 10 for me when I first did my list.
I do think it goes without saying that this year is a very big step forward in comparison to the last couple of years. This 10 could probably be a 5 or 4 maybe for last year or something like that. But for me, it's just it's my least run house. The last time we ran it was probably the best run I had. That's when everything was working. That was the only time I have seen Bonnie grab the scare actor and like pull him back. I hadn't seen that little gag yet before and thought it looked really cool. But even listening to episodes from last year, everybody here knows I'm not a big puppet guy. So does it look like the movie? Yep. Does it seem like I'm walking through it? Yep. Does it look really cool? Is it nostalgic? Yep. But that's kind of where it lands for me, just based off of just those that criteria. I do want some scares. I do want some more people-y scare actors. I know scare actors are working the puppets, but I missed that interaction. I that goes a long way for me personally. But this is mid-season. Stuff could jump up a little bit and still get shuffled. I know my list got shuffled a lot, even in the last couple of minutes. I've kind of been readjusting it as I go. And maybe does the giant wait time hurt it? Probably, because I don't get to run it as often. Maybe there's some fun little things I'm kind of missing, but I unfortunately for me, that's just where it lands on my list personally. So Jamie, why don't you kick us off with your 9?
My number 9, Seamus, to kind of piggyback off you a little bit, I have Jason Universe. I mean, honestly, I know we feel the same way about this house. It just doesn't really, it's kind of boring, and I feel like it was a little, I don't want to say lazy, because again, that sounds kind of mean, but it's just a little disappointing, especially when you walk through the big Jason mask facade. You're like, oh, damn, like this is pretty cool. Like, I'm excited to see what's on the other side. And it's just a hallway of a bunch of Jasons. And it kind of sucks too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, it's scary having a bunch of different Jasons popping out at you. But if you miss the scares wrong, you maybe get 1 or 2. So it's like, that's ruined at the end too. And then it's like, oh, and then you're exiting the house. So, yeah. And then again, this was the other house that I haven't done very much next to Fallout. I think I've done this maybe a total of 3 times. And I know that's not enough to maybe give it a chance, but like
That's
you
kind
said,
of like
next
where
to
I'm at
things
with
will
Five
probably,
Nights.
yeah, and I think things could definitely change throughout the season because I do like when I hear other people like hyping this up, I'm like, damn, like I want to get a good run like that. Like I do want to see that because even though Jason's not my favorite slasher, it's still cool and nostalgic, like you said about Five Nights, to just have him back at the event.
Yeah. So, Seamus, then, what is your 9?
My nine. Did I say 9? 9. My 9 is Grave of Flesh.
Okay.
Just another house that I guess I'm just not understanding what everyone else is picking up. Like I just don't get it. Nothing wrong with the house in the sense that it's like poorly done or the scare actors aren't trying. Like Nick said, a lot of this stuff, this list for me has nothing to do with their efforts as scare actors. I think they have to be able to do what they can with what they're given. It's much like when you watch a bad movie with really good actors in it, and they're just doing what they can with the lines that they're given. I think with Grave, the story makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. And really, for me, the only thing that's really impressive is the facade. When you first walk in the graveyard, that first scene, and maybe I guess when you're underground, you look up and you see the grave. I think it's kind of a cool effect. But outside of that, it's just a very forgettable house. There's not a whole lot that I remember from it. Even after right after doing it, I just immediately kind of forget a lot of it because it just doesn't do much for me.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, just gonna sit at 9 because of that.
I'm very curious when we do our which we still got a book, but our unmasking. I'm very curious to see if it sheds a little bit of a fresh light on it for me as well, because I'm still kind of in that boat. I think I'm enjoying it more than you are, but I still don't understand it any more than you do. It's still for me, I'm like, okay, it's just like little dirt walls and people.
Yeah, well, that's why.
in
And
suits.
I look at something like this, and people are praising it, right? Like they I've heard a lot of people say that they like this house. What blows my mind is that everybody hated Museum last year, but I feel like Museum gave you more and gave you a better story and just more to look at and more and a variety. And at least they tried something with it. Do you know what I mean? Like this, you can do a graveyard house and do it right, even though it's a kind of played out theme. You can still find ways to do it, and I just don't think this does it for me. I just don't get it.
It's a very unique approach to this. Pretty much the tagline of you're walking into your own funeral. Like that's a tough ask on designers to be able to take that and make it visually happen in a walkthrough where there's really no audio, there's really not much going on to tell you exactly what's going on. That's a tall tale to ask. So I get that. My number 9. This is where I also have another IP that I haven't done as often, but it's been getting better. And that would be Fallout as well. It's getting tremendously better. They've stepped it up a lot. They've added new things. They added the new little, whatever their characters, the little zombie walkers or whatever. I don't know what the term is in the Fallout verse. But they added one next
ghouls.
Ghouls, yeah. They added another little ghoul guy over by the cockroach thing. I think my problems with the house lay in I feel like we don't spend enough time in certain areas because they tried to, I think, smash in so many different iconic scenes from the first season. You're left kind of jumping quickly in between scenes.
I think to kind of speak on what you're saying, I think it suffers from the same issue that Stranger Things has and had, is that there's too much going on. There's not enough time and not enough space in a house to really fit every beat from the show.
Really good point,
and I think
Seamus.
Fallout suffers from that because they're trying too hard to stay. Obviously, they have to because it's the property they use is the show itself. So they're trying to stay, honest to the show, and that's fine. But there's just too much in an 8-9 episode show to really make it fit in a house. So I can see the complaint. Yeah,
and I think the scene, when you come out of maybe Philly and you have those two scenes where it's the T-80 and the ghouls on the other side, and he pops out and it's moving, and then the next scene is the I can't see shit. I don't understand where we are in that time. I feel like we could have put that in Philly and like had a long Philly scene instead
Yeah.
of like dark rooms. It
I
seems like
wish they
those
had
two
picked-
rooms were wasted.
I wish they had picked like one, maybe two, like big story beats from the show and just stuck with those rather
Yeah.
than trying to fit more than they did. But I get what you're saying. I think it
Yeah.
suffers a little bit from what Jason suffers from, whereas the
Yeah.
end is a little. I don't want to say it feels
Abrupt.
phoned in, but it does feel a little like empty compared to everything else. You get a very like detailed Philly. You've got a very detailed desert when you finally leave the vault. Even the vault parts are really
Yeah.
well done. But then when you get kind of beyond that, when they actually get into like the lab area and
Yeah.
you get into California and the big battle scene at the end of the show, I think that was that was always going to be hard to translate into a house. So I wish they
Yeah.
kind of had done something different, because it's supposed to simulate like the whole like when he cuts the power at the end and he like starts killing them all in the suits in the dark and they
Yeah.
can't see anything. That's why the guy's like, I can't see shit in here or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't see fucking shit. Like,
Yeah, but
that's where that comes from.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I still very much enjoy going through this house. It has gotten a lot better. I think, we're definitely hitting that point in the season where these actors are knowing their roles and doing what they can in them, whether it's a big role, small role, whatever. But I think it just, we'll circle back at the end of the season and see if I still have the same thoughts. But that's just kind of, as of today, where I stand on that one. So, Jamie, you're number 8.
Pull it back up here. My number 8 is going to be a little controversial, maybe. But as for right now, I have HHN34 as my number 8.
so do I.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, no, oh my goodness gracious. I'm surprised. I genuinely thought both of you were going to have these tremendously higher than number 8.
I've gotten.
I like it, but it's just everything else. I like it more.
I will say, again, this is a house I haven't done too many times, but I will say that the last run we all three together had through this house was fantastic with Colin as well. Seamus was a really, really good run. I got to see a lot more details that I've kind of missed before, I feel like. A lot of the demon scare actors and some of the other ones were getting like really close to your face, which I really enjoy, think is fun. But it just hasn't really been hit. I just feel like there's a lot going on with this house.
There is.
There's
the
a
last
lot going
couple
on with it.
weeks have, in my eyes, tremendously increased its stock for me. The last
to be
couple
honest
weeks has
with
been
you, for
heavy.
me, this one, I could interchange this with my 7th or my 8th.
I could
think
too. I was
think
just
between
gonna
the
say
two
that
of
as
them,
well.
They could easily be the same rank, but I agree with everything you just said, Jamie. I think for me, I think I had it hyped a little bit more than you did. Definitely. I think it was like my highest hyped. Was it? It may have been my high. I don't know. Oh no, maybe Galkin was. I don't know. But Hatchet was pretty high in my hype. They're somewhat high in my hype. I just don't think it has quite hit me. I haven't gotten that run yet where I'm like, okay, I'm into it. I get it. I get it now.
Yeah.
I think that there are parts of it that are cool. But I think like Nick, like you say, I think this one relies a little bit too much in puppetry too. There's a lot of demon puppetry, a lot of demon horses and stuff like that. You only get like Hatchet and Chains a couple of times in a lot of ways. I really like the end of it. Like I like the train part. I think that's kind of a cool effect. But I don't know. I think honestly, it's the best use of projection, I think, out of any of the houses.
Yeah.
When you're walking into the train station, you see the train going by. I think that's the best use of projection that they've got this year. But I don't know.
So that's your 8 as well?
That is my 8 as well.
Ooh,
so
all right. Well, I can't talk about it quite yet. We got a little bit before we can talk about that one. So my number 8, this has kind of dropped as of recently. And that is Dolls. Let's Play Dead. I really enjoy it. I think a lot of the scares in this house are too similar for me. I think they built a lot of the scares to be the static figure that you see that quickly moves. And it's an effective, fun scare at times, but it gets a little repetitive in this one. I feel like in the little bedroom scene, there's 2 of them that do that. You got the one that's like tangled in the hallway. You got the one that's on the electrical board. They're all kind of hiding in plain sight and then do a little jolty thing or whatever. And that's kind of the extent of their scare because they don't have a boo hole or anything. They're just kind of, that's, I think their direction of like, oh, they're kind of just toys laying around.
Mhm.
But for me, it just got a little repetitive. But I love the scenic. I love the smell. That's one of my favorite smells.
I do too.
Whatever it is, plastic, rose plastic,
The
roses. I don't know, it's
plastico.
something. But yeah, it looks great. I just think that the other houses this last couple of weeks that have really impacted my opinions on these, a lot of the other stuff I've seen increase, and this one has sort of stayed where it began for me. In terms of like post weekend or opening weekend stuff, it is what it is. I was surprised and like really happy about it, and then it didn't seem to continue growing as some of these others have for me. So that's why I got dolls down there. But again, this is, maybe next week's episode or in a couple weeks, we'll do our HHN34 versus 33 because I'm really curious where
That'll be a good
we
one.
line stuff up to see like where the house is stacked, because 8 on this year is like a 3 from last year, possibly, without even really looking at it. So that's where dolls lays for me right now. So Jamie, you're number 7.
My lucky number 7, we have Gulkin, Monsters of the North. This, again, I think, was that your number 7, Seamus?
Yeah, it is.
It's very funny. I was going to ask you because I was like, I was going to say, I wonder if those were the ones you were saying you could interchange. Yeah. And honestly, again, it's just so tough because this isn't a bad house at all. I really, really like this house.
Mhm.
But again, there's just other ones that I enjoy more and I feel like have more of a connection with or had not better experiences because I've had great experiences in all the houses, but just I really don't have anything negative to say about it either. I mean, I've gotten some good scares in this house. The imagery is really nice. I absolutely love the big skull, kind of like Wendigo head
Mhm.
that they have in the one room where you walk through it and its arms are all the way stretched out. Just a very huge piece that's very cool. And I guess it wasn't really what I was expecting when we found out the name and like found out what it was about. Because I know a lot of us thought it was going to be more like that wintry house.
Yeah.
But I do still like the more folklore aspect that they went with it. And I like that they kind of lean that way because it interests me a little bit more. But again, I don't think this is a bad house whatsoever. Just other ones that I like a little bit more.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So Seamus, this is your 7 as well. Then
It
this one
is.
dropped.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
one of the ones that really fell down the list for me, and I think part of it's just because it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, like Jamie said. I think it's good. I think it's a decent house. I just don't. I don't find anything unique about it. It feels I don't know why, but it just feels like things we've seen before and recently.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot of Blood Moon vibes. It gives me a lot of museum vibes. There's a lot of things about it that just scream, we've done this before, and it doesn't really do a whole lot different. And just, I think that's just for me. It's not that it's bad. It's just I don't get excited for it. Like it's not one that I'm like I gotta wait for. I'll do it because the waits aren't usually that long. But
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there
and
are
they
two.
I said they even took the audio cue from Blood Moon. They killed Mama and Papa.
Right. Well, that
They
so there you
did,
go.
uh-huh.
Like, and that's what. And this
I
is also
noticed that too.
this is the house where they stuck the eagle thing. What the hell? The blood eagle. That's what
the
they
Blood
stuck.
Eagle. Yeah.
Yeah, they stuck that in this house. So it feels like they reused a lot of stuff. I'll admit there's 2 set pieces in it that are really cool. One, the Burning Man, and 2, the big demon thing at the end. Like that's really, 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 it was a really cool effect. It's a cool puppet, and I like the sound that it makes. It makes some weird
Yeah.
screaming, screeching noise, and I think that's really cool. Other than that, I think the house is pretty forgettable, and it's just not one that I was hoping. I was really hoping this was going to be, my favorite original of
Yeah.
the year, but it's just not.
Yeah. A little trickier thing too with like Gulkin and Fallout for me. The price point to walk all the way back there is a tough ask for me sometimes. Or I'm like, I don't know if I want to go all the way back there for those
That
2
too.
right now. Like it's just I don't have like last year
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Goblins and that pulled me back there a lot more. It's not screaming my name out in the back. So it's a little bit trickier. But my number 7, I think I can't remember if you all talked about it yet, but Grave of Flesh.
Yeah, mine
That's
was
where I
at
have
9.
it for me. Yeah. I got it up there. It's been making moves for me. I think I'm finally past the point of looking for what the hell is going on and just kind of enjoying the scares as they come. The characters have been getting very intense in there, which is kind of like what I think needs to happen. They have nice boo holes, so like this house is going to be determined by that scare factor for me, since story is not really a thing in contention. And I think they know that. They're going very hard in this house, and I think that they know they have to sort of keep it treading water a little bit, because they have a lot working against them in terms of, it's not the scenic house. It's almost like a false advertising. You walk in and you see this giant cemetery, beautiful gothic-y setting, very creepy and eerie, and then you take that first right into like the taverns and it's dirt walls. It's a little misguiding you, but I've been having a lot of fun in this one with the interactions with the cast, so that's why it's definitely moved up a little bit for me from original. Now, where it lands at the end, who's to say? But that's where it stands today. So, Jamie, you're number 6.
My number 6 happens to be Grave of Flesh, right after you, Nick. Yeah, which is very, very funny that this is even so much in the middle, as I was hating very much on this house when it got announced, and I was saying how forgettable it was and this and that. And, it's really grown on me. We've had a lot of runs in this house. We've had a lot of good runs in this house. Like you guys said before, I think the facades are really, really cool. Even though it doesn't have much of a story, I feel like for me, it just doesn't need it in this circumstance with this house, because it's kind of self-explanatory, I guess. I mean, if you look deeper into it, I guess when the big kind of demon on the stage and you're worshiping into it, it's kind of when you're in like limbo or whatever is what I would assume, but
Purgatory.
or purgatory, yeah. But if you're not looking too much into it, it is a really fun and enjoyable house with very, I guess, like classic scares to it, if that makes sense. I mean, it's zombies, and I usually hate zombies. But I feel like it's
the undead,
the undead, yeah,
whatever they are, creatures, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I feel like it's not just those kind of zombies or skeletons or undead coming out. I'm glad that you brought up the creatures, Nick, because I almost forgot to say, I feel like that kind of adds a little bit more depth to it as well, without having the same character kind of over and over again with those cool little creature, monster-y wood kind of things, I guess, or root creatures they look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so Seamus, you're 6.
My 6 is Wyatt.
Ooh,
okay. I like this house. It's just, I don't know. I think as much as I like it, I do feel like it's lacking something in the sense of, I don't know, like just a haunted house, I guess, is the West.
Okay.
Like, it's a great love letter to WWE. It's a wonderful tribute to Bray, and I think that's what it needed to do. I just think overall, if I'm comparing all 10 houses, there's just 5 others that I like better than this one as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
The more runs I do, it might grow a little bit, but I just think that I don't have the same love affair with wrestling that I used to when I was a kid. I don't watch it like that anymore, and I never. We talked about this before on our hype list and stuff. I don't have the same connection to Bray as other people do. Like, I didn't watch wrestling, and I haven't watched wrestling much in the last 20, 25 years. So it's hard for me to like be super like down with it, just because I don't get the story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, I think every room is unique. It does a really, really good job of making you feel like, you're at an event. I think I'm glad it wasn't like what I thought it was. I was worried it was going to be, which is going to be like
wrestling ring,
haunted wrestling ring. Like, and it's not. I think I like the idea of, these alter egos, or these like alternate universe evil versions of all these real wrestlers or whatever, these real people taking over and kind of like controlling, their own like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I think from that perspective, I think it's a really good house. But at the same time, for me, it's not what I'm looking for necessarily in a haunted house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. It definitely comes off a little bit more like experience than
Yeah,
like haunted house.
I think it's a love letter to wrestling, and I think that's what Mike was going for. That's what the team was going for, and I think they nailed it when it comes to that. I just don't think it's. I don't know. I just said it doesn't scream haunted house to me. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So my number 6. This is where Jason pops up. He's dropped. He dropped. I'll admit it. He dropped a lot.
Wow.
I think he was 3 or 2
Right?
maybe.
Wow.
But I still do enjoy this house. I get what people say. I know it's not the most amazing, spectacular, intricate house. The hallway scene, it's fine. But I do like the first half a lot. I like that campy vibe. I think this is the best use of that transition area of the outside to the inside again, kind of walking up through the cabin with the bug outside and Mrs. Voorhees kind of yelling. The scares is a tough factor for us because like we see the houses so much, we know where they're going to come from. Very few times does it truly be scary, but I can see how it can be to other people. So I think the scare factor's there a little bit for me. I do wish they would kind of kill the lights a little bit more in that hallway to make it like terrifyingly scary. So that way
Yeah.
they're actually there. They're getting close. They're putting their hands out. They're getting some feelers out there for the people. But it's short. I would like a little bit more camp to it. I want more Crystal Lake. I want, I like all the Jasons. I don't think there needs to necessarily be other, maybe a couple camp counselors other than the 2 that they may have. But I overall still like it. Some big dudes, they're slamming doors, they're opening windows. It's just dumb Jason fun. He's just being a fucking inconvenient serial killer. That's all he's doing. So yeah, I agree on both ends. I agree that this is, people are viewing this as like one of their top houses. I mean, I can see why, but to an extent, I have to be realistic. It's not necessarily the top for me, and I can see why people say that tail end is a little repetitive or lazy to an extent because that one little stretch. I think you go through 3 different like little tarps to push into the next room. It's like, oh, again, no, another one, okay, again. So it does get a little there, but it's Jason. He's back. I'm cool. I'm happy with it. It's not the best house that they could have given us, but it's not the worst. It's not Jason's ultimate kill count for me. So yeah. So let's get into our top 5. So Jamie, you're number 5.
Rounding out my number 5 spot, I have Dolls Let's Play Dead. I think this is a very whimsical, fun, colorful house, which is very rare that you see with houses sometimes, or at least in the last recent years. I kind of like the aspect, Nick, that you had mentioned about the dolls kind of just being strewn about and not really having boo holes and stuff like that. I do agree that the movements and everything could be a little bit repetitive, but I do like that they used like baby dolls or like Raggedy Ann doll or like the Stitch dolls or the doll with a bunch of different heads on it and just a lot of weird little details and I forgot the guest interactive buttons I really like in this house too. They're fun now that I know that they're there. I always try to bop them when I can. But yeah, overall, I mean, this is a fun house. I feel like this is one of the more easygoing houses we have this year. The line hasn't been too long, so I feel like I've done this a decent amount of time so far. I feel like sometimes we do get bamboozled when we get in there and it's a little bit longer than we expected, but overall, I've really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
And like
good.
you said, the plastic smell is very oddly enticing.
Yeah, I like it.
Mhm.
So Seamus, you're number 5.
My number 5 is Fallout.
Okay, so both of our top IPs have
I
kind
think-
of been in that middle area.
I think just like you, it's not that I think it's bad. I still am in love with this house. I just don't think it quite reaches the level of what I was putting it at. And I feel like I think I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we always do with IPs.
Yeah, and it's just because like I can see why everyone says what they say about it. Like it is a little, it's lacking. There isn't a whole lot going on as far as scares are concerned. But still, me being able to experience the Fallout universe in that way is just something that I don't think I ever thought I'd be able to do. So it's not life changing, but it's really fun. And I think they've actually improved it a little bit by opening up the like initially like the scene when you're in the save a lot, and like the ghouls are behind the glass doors like in the show, but you really couldn't see in. It wasn't that effective. They opened those up so now that they can come out at you. Same with the big like finger monster thing.
Yep.
They opened that up as well so you can see in a little bit better. The puppet can come out at you. So they've improved some of it in that regard, but at the same time, I still think that it's, there might be a little too much okie dokie. Like I think they overuse that scare just a little bit, because it's like, I get that's like her thing, like that's what she says in the show, but there are a number of one-liners, sound bites you could have used for the triggers other than just that. But I get it. I get why they did it.
I feel like the Lucy characters kind of got the short end of the stick with the
they
triggers,
because really
there's
like they look really good. All their characters, all their outfits
design,
and their costumes look great. I mean, they nail her. I mean, a lot of the characters they nail, but her in particular. And I think that it's like a house that we'll talk about shortly, I'm sure. But like, I just don't. I feel like there could have been more effective ways to use her character, other than just the same thing every time she comes out.
I think there's like 2 or 3 okie dokies, and there's one that comes out just panting. Like her triggers really just...
Oh, right. The one where she's got the rad poisoning.
Yeah,
the scene
it's
where,
like, just give her some words.
Yeah,
like,
and it sucks that like the only real Maximus that we get is the one stuck in the suit. So you don't even get to see him. Like he's not really in it, and like that kind of stinks, because like of all 3 main characters, you get a ton of Ellie Purnell's character, Lucy, and you get a ton of the ghoul, but you really don't get any Maximus other than his voice audio.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Like I don't know why they couldn't have fit him in somewhere in there.
Yeah. No, it's strange. So my number 5, next door, Galkin. Right there. It's right in the middle for me. I am nervous that it might go down a little bit, but I do very much enjoy it. I do think it's getting that Blood Moon rub for me, where it's like, ooh, these are things I did like before. Give me more, please. And they did. And it's pretty similar. I get that. But again, this is another one. These top 5 have like shifted around a lot, mostly just because of my interactions with the actors and everything. The last couple weeks, it's been just on all new levels. So it's moving up for me. I do think it does feel a little short. I think it's in that 4.5 minute range, maybe less than 4.5 minutes, but that's what it feels like walking through, because I've started to time a couple houses to see how long it takes to walk through them, and this one does kind of feel on the shorter end of things. The set design is really cool, but it feels familiar. But it did let me down that we didn't get the cold house that we had originally thought. I think the Beast character design is really cool. Right when you walk into that first room and she comes out and she's got the black light on and she does the scream, that's really good. I wish there was more of her in the house, because I think you only get to see her like one other time other than that. Like Seamus mentioned, I love the giant monster at the end. The sound is ridiculous. It's like a T-Rex with like a rhino or something like that. So I really dig the sound and the lights of it all. But yeah, it's right in the middle for me. I think some stuff in the bottom might move up. This could get adjusted a little bit for right now. Galkin is right there at number 5. So Jamie, you're number 4.
Number 4, I have The Horrors of the Wyatt Six. So for me, not even really being a big wrestling fan, as I've mentioned before when we talked about this house, I feel like I enjoy this so much just because it's something different that we don't see very often and haven't really seen before, other than there was once a wrestling or like a wrestler-based house
Hollywood.
In Hollywood, yeah. So we've never really seen something like this before. And I think it's different. We've said in the past years that we want a different house experience, and I feel like kind of how you guys, or how you had mentioned as well, Seamus, I feel like it is more of a house experience than a haunted house. But I will say that the Ramblin' Rabbit room reminds me, all those different rooms that they have for each of the Wyatt Six, I feel like reminds me of like that classic, like older HHN with the original houses. So I really like that they had those different rooms representing them and kind of got to put their original spin on it. And then as well I mean, the big TV room that you walk through with the TVs all around you and that double scare you get is just really, really good too. But overall, I'm very surprised with how much I've been enjoying this house this year, and we've done it a lot too. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
All righty. Seamus, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Terrifier. I think this house, I don't think I had it that low on my hype list, but I was kind of nervous about, will it deliver? And I can safely say it delivers. I think it lacks a little bit based on what people were talking, like making it sound like it. I mean, you got a lot of the, oh my God, it's like the goriest thing you've ever been in. And
Yeah.
it's pretty gory. It's a pretty gory house, but they they nail it. I think they bring that. It's this weird, like nasty but fun and lovable in a way, like vibe you get with art that I think it just works. It just nails. Um, Obviously the character's a psychopath, but at the same time, like there's just something about him that I don't know. You just kind of you're drawn to it, and it is fun. And we've talked about it. I like how in every room you get him, you get a different version of who Art is. You get a different version of his personality and his his traits and different scenes from the different movies. And I think it really works. And they don't hold back. They do a pretty good job of not holding back when it comes to the violence and the gore in it. So I think if you're a Terrifier fan, you're going to get exactly what you want. If all you know is Art, the character, you're still going to have fun with this house, I think. Um, and and they definitely play with the smells. Like it's the one house where I think they definitely play with like the, hey, we're going to make you sick to your stomach
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to the smells. But it's a fun house. I think it's really, really, it's really fun. I have a good time going through it. So
Yeah. I'm not quite ready to talk about Terrifier just yet, but I can talk about a house that is probably going to surprise people that I have it at number 4. And that is El Artista.
Wow.
Yes.
Slow.
I am surprised.
As of late, I've had pretty inconsistent runs. I've had a lot of empty holes. I've had a lot of maybe just missing the scare, or the scares kind of like they were up close to where I was and then they held off for a while until I was like pretty past. So I don't know if it's too long of a reset on some of the scares. But I have noticed that I don't know if they're relying on the beauty of it. But to like be that S tier number 1 house, like you got to have a little bit of everything. And this is so set up to be like a home run, but I just need more. I need more scares and I need more holes filled. I just don't think that factor is there for me currently. I think it was there a little bit in the beginning, or I might have just been overlooking it because it was such a shocking awe moment walking up to that house and walking into the house. It was brilliant. It's brilliantly designed. It's a beautiful house. The back and forth of the pathways are very just thought out, and it feels like feels like the Shining hedge maze. I don't know where I am half the time, but there's scenes in there that I expect to be very intense, and it's not. It kind of just teeters right there. I feel like I should be getting crazy jump scares because it just seems like it's built that way, and it's just not necessarily happening for me. The statue scare, for example, in the little courtyard. In the last 3 weeks, I don't think I've seen that person move. Now, maybe they're moving like before I enter the room and when I leave the room, but it's a pretty long like walk around. Again, that static figure scare is pretty big this year. And I think it's an effective one, but when it's used sparingly, I think we overindulged on that, like hiding in plain sight scare a little bit. And I don't know if they're told to, maybe reset longer periods of time or not, but it hasn't been moving for me, which is unfortunate because it's just like I really love this house. I'd love to have this at number 1, but from the runs that I've received as of late, that's just kind of where it landed for me, unfortunately, right now. But so let's get into our top 3 then. So Jamie, you're number 3.
Sorry, I still had myself muted, but my number 3 is going to be Five Nights at Freddy's.
Whoa.
I know. Not my number one spot, but still in the top 3, which I think is very fair. This house has just been an absolute blast for me. It just makes me so happy walking into that first room with the stage and with all the characters, singing to Talking in Your Sleep by the Romantics, and then when the lights go out, they glitch. The kid who plays the child, Foxy, kind of pops out behind the curtain. Just an all-around really, really cool scene, and it's so much just fun to look at every little detail when you kind of can, especially since it's spaced out, and I feel like the pacing in the house has been pretty good to where I can kind of investigate stuff a little bit more, especially like in the security room when you could look around the corner and see like Foxy or Bonnie or Freddy's shadow on the wall. I feel like it's been different every time. And how you mentioned, Nick, I've finally, these last few times, have also seen the Bonnie grabbing the like janitor like scare actor in the closet, which is really fun because I've been missing that usually too. And then we finally have seen Foxy going down the little conveyor belt and running towards you. I'm just very happy that they have all the parts moving now, and I think it's really brought it together more. And I've said it already, it just feels like you're walking straight onto the movie set. I just think it's really, really cool.
Yeah. So Seamus, you're number 3.
Yeah, I don't got to say much more than that because my number 3 is FNAF 2. And
Oh,
for
yours moved
people
up
that
too.
listen
Shit,
to
I
us,
forgot
they
you didn't say
should
that.
Shamo's been liking the
should say a
FNAF.
lot because this house really does blow me away. I really, and I think I said that when I did my hype list. Like I had it low, but I'm like, remember, this is because I just
You were
don't.
optimistic.
I'm
Mhm.
optimistic with it.
Mhm.
I'm not a FNAF guy. I don't like the movie. I famously have said I hate the movie. I think the movie is very bad. But I also, that's because I don't think the movie was made for me. And that's fine. But again, it's one of those things where I don't have to like the movie or really have a lot of knowledge of the property to have a great time with the house, itself. I think it's a different story when you're talking about actually being present in something, and having like that 4D effect almost versus, watching a movie and being like a third party observer. I think it's a lot different. And like Jamie said, when you first walk into that pizzeria, we nailed it when we were talking about like what we think is going to be in this house. We said, you're going to walk up, you're going to see the
We
chain link
did.
fence, and it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. That first room sells it for me. When you first walk into the pizzeria and the music's playing and they're singing their
That's
songs,
huge.
and then they just kind of like do the thing and they look up at you and Freddy does his like angry eyes. I'm not a big massive puppet guy like you said, Nick, but I think
It works here.
they just
I've
did
been
such a
staring them
good job.
down.
Yeah, they do
They
such a
look
good job
so
with it this
good.
year. And again, you can tell that some of these are puppetry, where people like puppetry,
Mhm.
puppeteering it is the word I'm thinking of. And then there's at least one or two that aren't necessarily puppets. But either way, it just works. All the scares are great. They're unique. It's different. I caught the Bonnie taking the security guard scare on premium stream night, so like I was sold
okay.
immediately. And I think they did a really good job of recreating the environment. And even if you're just like a passing fan of the gaming lore, there's so much to get from it. Like if you look at in the security room scene and you look in the monitors, you can see the map that you have in the game of all the different rooms. It's the same map that like you have in the game rather than just, things from the movie. And that's what I liked about this is they kind of like mixed items from the movie and then things from the games that if you're a game player, you'll pick out on it. So I thought it was pretty cool. I think this house is great. I can't imagine it falls very far in my final ranking just because I like it so much. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but I will humbly eat my humble pie and say that I was wrong of my initial thoughts with this house.
All right. Well, my number 3, and there's 3 letters, and that's WWE. This is where the horrors of the Wyatt 6 fall for me. This is the house I've probably run the most at this point. Thanks large in parts of the day we did it 3 times in a row, I think, with Duff, Jess, Jonathan, the whole 365 crew. We were just running this house because when it opened, we were stuck under rain and it was a nothing wait. So we were like, oh, instead of walking around in the rain, let's just kind of gobble this thing up a little bit. But it's just such a fun run. The characters know their roles. They are really embodying the characters that they're portraying. I like the route that they took of kind of giving each character a little room. It didn't feel like we were rushing through quickly, even though there are, the 6 characters and stuff like that. I do wish there was like an Uncle Howdy style room, like, because he doesn't have like the, like the Mad Tea Parter, you have the Huskus, you have the Mercy room, you have the Abbey room, and then you do go into the Bray Wyatt, like Wyatt Swamp, Wyatt family house. I do wish that there was like a created Uncle Howdy style thing that that kind of portrayed the Uncle Howdy character a little bit more. But yeah, no, I love this house. The scares are there. They get dangerously close. The Fiend and the Uncle Howdy in that double scare, that's like the truest double scare of the season, I think. They've matched that time perfectly now. I know the first week or two, it was kind of like an alternating, or sometimes you only got one. But when you get the right timing, they both will get you, and it works. So I love it. I do have that much more of an attachment to the Wyatts and Bray Wyatt and all that stuff versus Sheamus, because I really did watch a lot during those years. So it was kind of like where Fallout is for you. It's like I didn't think I'd get to walk through this ever. This was not really a thought that logically crossed my mind at any point. It was kind of like, well, maybe at some point, like it would be a cool idea, but what are the odds?
It's definitely something that no one really ever saw coming.
No, I think it was like a wish list item for a lot of people. But even those people, I don't think ever thought realistically it was going to happen. It was just like, man, wouldn't this be cool if it happened? And it did, and it is. So I'm very happy with how the Wyatt 6 house has turned out. That's for sure. So Jamie, you're number 2.
My number 2, getting close to the top, is going to be El Artista, A Spanish Haunting. This
You and
house
I are like
was, I know,
mind melded
very,
tonight.
very, very similar. But I mean, when we first heard about this house, excuse me, I feel like we were all very enticed by it, very intrigued by it. It was another Dylan house. We automatically knew that the facade and the design and everything was going to be stunning. I just feel like they went above and beyond with this one. I mean, walking into the front of the manor with the full grass and trees in the front, in the courtyard with the big fountain and the gargoyle. Sorry, I zoned out for a second. The gargoyle flying across and top, and then just the different scares that they utilized with the what is it called, Nick? The Pepper's Ghost.
The Pepper's Ghost scare.
The Pepper's Ghost scare, which has been really fun. They use a lot of mirror scares in here. There's one really good one, honestly, when you first walk into the house, that a little boy-looking character with kind of like a little like round bowl hat comes out and hops around from the side of the mirror. And I think that got me the first time that we ever went through this house. Even just the costume design for all the different scare actors that they have in here has just been, I feel like everything meshes really well together. I will say that there has been times, Nick, and I know you had mentioned sometimes about the different scares maybe being a little late or kind of having a delay in their scare timing. I kind of noticed that too, because that statue in the courtyard, I feel like when we did that house on Premium Scream and maybe a couple other times, we saw it like right off the bat move. And I don't think I've seen it move since then either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still a person. So
it's definitely
just...
it's definitely still a person. I'm like, come on, you don't want to move for me?
Nothing.
I guess nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. But again, I don't think that takes away from this house for me, because it is a very beautiful house. And like I said, my rankings are purely based on what I enjoy because I'm selfish. But all around, I think this has been
that's what a list is supposed to be.
I know, but still. But all around, I think this house has been very enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to say we're right and wrong about whatever they're, it doesn't matter. It's all personal. So Seamus, you're number 2.
Same as Jamie. It's El Artista. I love this house visually. Like I stated, I'm a massive fan of what Dylan pulls off, and as a house, like a head of design for a house like that, I think he just there's a vision he has that I think it's hard to match. So he does really good with that, and the story's great. I think Ramon and his team did an unbelievable job writing the story, and all the characters they fit perfectly for it. I love when you first walk in that facade, that big open mansion, and you have the artist. You have him right there, and it just fits. Everything fits.
Yeah.
But like you, I think there are a few things that unfortunately drops it just a little bit for me, and it's that it doesn't feel as heavy on the scares. But I don't necessarily hate that. I think it uses a lot of the melancholy feel, making you feel like it's very gothic and very, 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 almost like a depression. Like you feel it's almost depressing in a lot of
Okay.
ways, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that's the theme that it's going for.
Mhm.
But I think overall, it's just an incredibly stunning house. It's just stunning,
Yeah.
and it's what I look for. Obviously, I'm different than a lot of people. Like I'm not looking to just be like, you know, shocked out of my shoes. Like I don't need to be like every
Yeah.
time somebody comes out of a boo hole. That adds to it for me, but that's not why I like it. I like it because
Mhm.
I love the detail that goes into making an experience for someone, and
Mhm.
this house is just it nails almost everything for me. There's like a few little things here and there that I'm like not sold on, but everything else is just it's just so good. It's just a really, really, really,
Mhm.
really good house.
Yeah. And my thing with the scares too is like I don't necessarily need them, but me just kind of looking at it, I'm like it feels like it was built to be that way and like intense, and it just hasn't like progressed enough yet.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of like dock it a little bit there.
No,
But
I see that. I
um,
understand that point.
yeah. But my number two, Hatch and Chains. I've had tremendous runs with this thing the last 2.5 weeks. These characters, the very first like demon was like the other night was like coming out at like shin level and like working around and up, and it was wild. It threw me off a lot because I was not suspecting that. But the actors in this house, it feels very Insidious to me, where they are Insidious or also like Legends Collide. The characters are kind of making this house at the moment for me. It's a clusterfuck. There's a bunch of stuff in there. It's just you're in a shootout, you're in the bank, you're in a train. It is hard to decipher what and where you are, but it's all in the same genre. It all makes sense. It all feels like I would be walking in and out of different stores downtown of a Western. Um, and like I said, the characters are just they're going hard. Um, I do knock it a little bit, like not much because it's number two, but like I do think we should get more Hatchet and Chains. I think there's only like two of each. It seems like it's like up on the horse, and he's pulling, Chains is pulling the guy out of the fireplace. But everybody else in there looks really cool. I like the design. I wasn't 100% sold on that like neon-y kind of demon, but it's growing on me now. I was anticipating like very reddish lava demons and almost like gooey looks, but the design that they have is working for me a little bit more now. I think there's a lot of fun little scares. There's like the little coffin that they pop out of. There's the face that's like split open, and this character puts their hand through the mouth and like you know fondles in your face.
Yeah, I like that one.
Um, that one's really fun. But yeah, overall, I just have a really, really fun rootin' tootin' time in here.
I see what you did there.
That right?
Mayo. So Jamie, you're number one.
My
I know where
number
this is
one,
going.
which I
Yeah.
think might be all of our number ones. Maybe I'm crazy. No,
I don't think so.
I don't know. Oh, maybe I am crazy. Well, my number one is Terrifier, which is no surprise here. This was number one on my hype list. Maybe I'm a little biased, but this house has just exceeded all of my expectations for me. I've gotten scared in this house. I've laughed in this house. I've smiled in this house. I've sang and danced in the Clown Cafe. It's just everything I could have wanted and more from a Terrifier house, which I never even thought was going to be a possibility for us to get at HHN. So it is very surreal having this as a house and seeing Art the Clown roaming around the park and kind of just being the star of Horror Nights this year. I mean, it's fair to say that everyone has just been very hyped up to see him, but cast-wise in this house, I feel like everyone has just gone hard. Every run we've done through it, I mean, it just... I don't know what other good things I could say about it other than this is probably going to continue to stay in my number one spot throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, this is just a a fun time.
It is.
So Seamus, you're number one.
This is, I think, where everyone's going to be a little shocked because there's one house I have not mentioned yet, and this is
I
my
know.
number one.
I was trying to pay
I
attention
forget
too.
now.
As
I know.
of right now, it's Dolls.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
I love this house.
No, I love that,
have
Seamus.
completely fallen in love with this house. I think of all 10, it is the most unique idea we've had in years. I love the idea of being, like, in reality, we're toys trying to escape this demonic, psychotic little child who's like burning and manipulating. And like Nick said, it's exactly what Nick was saying. It's evil Sid from Toy Story. Like, if
He
Sid could
called
be
it.
even
He
more
did.
evil,
Mhm.
it's exactly what it is. And I think for what it is, it's a lot more intense than I think anyone was expecting. It's more intense than I was expecting. I thought this was going to be like the goofy, funny, ha ha ha. This is like the levity house.
Yeah.
And I think this is like, it's a dark house. Like, it's
Yeah.
maniacal. I mean, she's
The tone is
a
dark.
sociopathic, sadistic, awful human child. Like, like legitimately torturing her toys. And that's just something that I'm like, man, this is sick. And it's not sick as in like I'm from New England and I use sick to describe things as like good, but like sick as in this person's sick in the head. Like, like whoever came up with this idea, like, you nailed it. Like, it's exactly what I think you were going for, and it hits every beat. It's scary. The theme works wonders. Everything is visually stunning. I think it looks great. It looks like you're walking into a child's bedroom. And every scare actor is unique. Like, every monster is unique. They're all different types of monsters. It's not like, it doesn't seem like everything is repeated. Like the 3-headed doll, or
That's what I like too.
like the dolls with the things like the pins in their heads, or like, and it just it's interactive. It's almost like what Chucky was supposed to be, but just so much better. So I don't know. I'm as of right now, this is my favorite house. Not by much, but it's I think if Artista had the scares that this does, Artista probably would still be number one for me. But this one, I think it's just got the whole package. I think it just nails everything for me.
Yeah, I can see that. This is a year where like 8 of them, you could tell me they're your number one, and I could be like, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
It's a weird year. It's tricky. These are all very, very good houses. Number one for me, Terrifier. This is not the scariest house by any means. This is a fun house. But a lot of the points that Seamus brought up when he talked about it, I like that every art's different.
Yes.
So that really cuts into that repetition factor. This is a long house. This is the longest house we have. I got to time this one myself, but it's got to be in that 8-minute mark or something like that.
It's close.
But we get gore. You get the dual path at the end. You get like holograms. You get a Christmas scene. Like, I'm a sucker for any Christmassy stuff. That Christmas hallway is amazing.
One of my favorite scenes in any house this year.
And I referred to something else as Insidious. I think maybe Hatchet by energy level. But Terrifier felt like Insidious for me, where on night one, it felt like all of the characters had already figured out and nailed their role.
Yeah.
Which isn't like a slight on any other house, but it's just that they embodied these characters. And maybe that's because, you're taking over for art. Like, you have the paperwork and you have the tape out there to study. So you're like, oh, Art the Clown? Cool. I can watch the shows. I think so too. But it felt like everybody embodied that role immediately and hasn't let up. They are goofy. They are sadistic. They are smiling while they're putting chainsaws in people's asses. Like, it's just a bloody good time. The actors come out very close to you. And it's just, it's so fun. And having those interactions with the cast, for me, that's what kind of drives houses a little bit more than others, is to be able to see some of these people night after night and start to recognize them. And be like, oh, you're boo hole number 3, buddy. But like, you do get that interaction when they start to see you more and more. You get the waves in, you get the, whatever. Like, you just start to build that a little bit of a bond there, which is fun. And they feel like they can play a little bit faster and scarier or more in your face to you, because like, oh, the weirdos that come just about every night. Like you can do that to us. But yeah, so that's why for me, Terrifier is sitting at the top right
We
now
have
for
to
my
all
mid-seasons.
agree, however, though, it is an absolute shame that we don't have Valkyrie Sienna in the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
like at the very end as you're
Afterthought.
leaving and you're not even thinking about it, and she comes out at you and you're like, oh,
And
hey,
the head,
oh, hey.
yeah, and the
That
headless art
sucks.
that walks around is so cool. I wish they would have had him in the house too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if,
that one
like-
I feel like is trickier because like I don't know how good their vision is. So like
yeah, well,
maybe
yeah, that's a
inside
good
the
point.
house would be trickier for the
I mean,
headless
yeah,
one, but Sienna
like,
should be.
But she
Right.
needs to be in the house. She needs to be in the final
Yeah.
scene. The fact that she wasn't in the final, like,
Mhm.
like I know that's kind of what they were trying to do, but I feel like when you put those characters in like the exit, you know what I mean? Like that last final, like, gotcha.
Yeah.
That wasn't that the headless
Kinda.
art should be the final gotcha, which he is, but like where she is, and she
With
should
her,
be in the house.
yeah.
Like it should be she finishes him off, and you're like, yeah, like that's supposed to be triumphant. And it
Yeah.
just feels like she's an afterthought where they stuck her in. It sucks because they found a couple of good they found a really good bunch of actors to play her, and just they look just like her, and she
Mhm.
fits so
Spot
well.
on.
And it just sucks that like she's such a big part of the movie, and it's like she's not in the house.
Nothing in the house. Yeah, yeah. No, I do wish she was in there a little bit more. I think that must have just got. I think that was just a creative decision. I'm just guessing because
I'm
it's
sure
such
it
a
was,
like all
yeah.
over the place house. Like it's not, just one. It's not two. It's three. It's all just it's a jumbled art mess. It's like the inside
Yeah.
of Art's brain. Like it's just chaos. But you could have snuck her in there somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, so that is our rankings for our mid-season. Why don't we, before we sign off, go through these quickly? So Jamie, from 10 through 1, where do you have stuff standing as of today?
All right. As of today, for my mid-season house rankings, I have Fallout at number 10, Jason Universe at number 9, Hatchet and Chains at number 8, Gulkin Monsters of the North at number 7, Grave of Flesh at number 6, Dolls Let's Play Dead at number 5, WWE The Horrors of the White Six at number 4, number 3 is Five Nights at Freddy's, 2 is El Artista, A Spanish Haunting, and number 1 is Terrifier.
All right. Seamus, your list.
Yep, my list as of today, October Fool's Day, it is Jason at 10, Grave of Flesh at 9, Hatchet and Chains at 8, Gulkin, Monsters in the North at 7, Wyatt 6 at 6, funny enough,
Wow.
Fallout at 5, Terrifier at 4, Five Nights at Freddy's at 3, El Artista at 2, and coming in strong, coming in hot at number 1, Dolls.
Them damn dolls, small soldiers. So my list, I have number 10, Five Nights at Freddy's, number 9, Fallout, number 8, Dolls, number 7, Grave of Flesh, 6 is my boy Jason, 5 is Gulkin, 4 is Artista, 3 is WWE, 2 is Hatchet and Chains, and 1 is Terrifier. Now again, I gotta finish this episode off reiterating the fact that we already said multiple times, but I need to say it again just so that way, if anybody is in these houses and listening, this is not like there's no negative at fault to the scare actors. This is, you are what make this event so great. You play your roles. Unfortunately, sometimes the roles that you were dealt may have been less than what you wanted or less than we had expected, but it's not an effort thing. I just want to make that perfectly clear. This is not saying, oh, Five Nights at Freddy's or Fallout. They're at the bottom because of it's lazy and it's the actors aren't giving an effort. No, everybody's giving an effort. It's just sometimes you get good runs, you get bad. It happens. But we can only judge off of what we see
And these are
and
also,
encounter.
remember, these are personal opinions. I know we
Very
shouldn't have
personal.
to remind people of that, but this is personal. It's something I may not like, something that someone else does. So just keep that in mind.
Just look at, like me and Jamie have Terrifier at 1. If somebody does not like the Terrifier movies at all,
they're not going to like the house.
They can justifiably have it at 10. And that's like a realistic thing.
Yes.
That's fine. But yeah, so I
sure.
think that just about wraps us up. At
Yes.
one of these weeks, we're going to dive into our fantasy football rankings and kind of go through who's beaten who. But I just haven't taken the time to look at our teams yet.
At that.
We haven't even hinted at that. But we are running a fantasy football league. Me and Seamus both have a league. So we will do maybe a little quarter replay every couple then. But we'll get on that. Like I mentioned up front, of the episode. We have something in the works that is very important to us. So keep your eyes peeled on our Instagram. We should be having some more information about that soon. But make sure you are following along for this because it's going to be a very important thing that we're going to be doing. So very exciting. And we can't wait to get back in the fog. It is Wednesday. I think Jamie's on her way over there in a little bit.
I am. As soon as we're done.
Probably be there at some point. But until next time, this is Nick.
This is Seamus.
And this is Jamie.
Happy hunts. Thank you for listening to another episode of Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whatever streaming platform you are listening to us on. You can find us on all of our socials at Fear and Beer Pod.